I'm ready. Hello, Internets. I'm Joe.
I'm Eric, and you're watching Just Cool Enough, the show that some of us just don't even bother showing up to, apparently. They
Yeah.
just sometimes they tell us 6 months ago they won't be here. Sometimes they say they texted us, but nobody got a text.
Sometimes they have to watch a bunch of 8th graders get married or whatever weird tradition they have at
I
the
don't
end of the
know.
school year.
Fucking Boston, that's just how they go. They child brides. The big thing.
You almost made me spit take all over the mixer because someone was drinking water.
Well, maybe you
Fucking
shouldn't
East
drink
Coast
water.
child bride.
For the audio listeners, Joe's drinking water literally out of a beer pitcher right now, like a 3-gallon beer pitcher for some reason. Okay.
It's not a pitcher.
Okay.
A pitcher.
It looks like on further thing. It looks like a nice pint glass, but the way you had it like way up close, like it was so close in frame that it looked like you were drinking from one of those giant Gatorade things that you pour on your coach when you win the Super Bowl.
That's yeah. I never got that. I always got mad. I'm like, they're wasting all that Gatorade, and he has expensive audio equipment on. Why would you do that?
Yeah, and the worst is the year that my favorite team, the Oakland Raiders, made it to the Super Bowl finally after years of trying and making it to the finals and getting fucked over in like the last game. Finally made it. The only problem was their coach, John Gruden, who was the coach that led them and made them the team that they are, was coaching the team on the other side that year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and completely fucking trounced them. It's the hardest thing for me to watch as a Raiders fan. But they fucking dumped the Gatorade on Gruden when it's clear that they have no chance of losing this because they just beat the shit out of the Raiders.
Wait a second.
And then he just has to stand there for like half a fucking hour, like just covered in his wet Gatorade clothes because the game's still going.
So wait, you're telling me, because the last time the Raiders won the Super Bowl was in 1983,
Yeah,
right?
it was 2003? 2000.
Wait, 2003?
That was when they went against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was the
Oh, okay, in the
2002.
playoffs. You told me it was the Super Bowl. That was
Yeah,
the
they
playoffs.
went to the Super Bowl and lost so fucking hard.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Because their head coach John Gruden, who had, over the years built the team back up to got it back in stride,
Okay.
was fired for being too good of a coach. I guess.
Is that when you stopped watching football, or what?
I don't know. It was the time when I was kind of getting back into football because there was like a 3 or 4 year period where the Raiders were doing really well. Like they made it to the playoffs every year, and it wasn't like a maybe wild card. Like they made it to like the first year they made it to the second to last or the second to last playoff games, and then they kind of got fucked over. And then the next year they made it to the last playoff game before the Super Bowl, and then like the fucking like 400-pound dude fucking like sat on the quarterback and broke his fucking shoulder, and they just couldn't and the refs were like, I didn't see nothing, and they fucked them over. But then finally they made it to the Super Bowl. But their coach, who led them through this triumphant return to form, was fired. Got a job at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and got them to the Super Bowl the first fucking year he was the coach. Like that's not. It's supposed to take at least like they say like with that kind of thing it takes a coach a couple of years to get his stride. I mean that's like it takes like a quarterback to like 5 years before he starts to really get his stride. It takes time. But no, John Gruden fucking turned this shitty Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a Super Bowl champions in like a matter of 3 fucking months and beat the shit out of my favorite team.
I'm just kind of surprised that you just dropped some football knowledge, because when you're playing fantasy, you're just like, yeah, football.
I don't know anything about like I know how the game's played. I don't watch it actively. I don't want to say it's my favorite sport, but of the professional sports played in America, it's the one I like the most because I dig it for the way it's played, the way it's broken down, the play system. It makes every play feel like this little strategy thing, like a little game of Risk or whatever. I like that. That's why I like it. Unlike all the other sports, which are basically they start and then they go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Whereas this, it's like little like 30-second chunks, and it's easy. There's feels like there's more drama in it. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But I don't actively watch it. But this was the time when I was actively watching it because the team that I grew up cheering for was actually finally doing it. Yeah, I mean, I used to. My dad had season tickets to the Raiders for 3 years when they moved back from Los Angeles to Oakland. It was like 93 to 95. We had season tickets, and we went almost every game. So, yeah, I'm a Raiders fan.
So, you know what? You know what's kind of shitty? Like, whenever I'm watching sport, I follow NHL, but when my team gets, like, knocked out of the playoffs, I'm just like, no, fuck that. I'm never going to watch this again.
Yeah.
You know, like, my team gets knocked, like the Red Wings got knocked out really early, but that's okay because we didn't even expect them to make the playoffs this year, and so they got knocked out of the playoffs. And the NHL playoffs are like a million years long, right?
Yeah, my sister's gotten really into hockey the last year for some reason, and she's all about the Sharks, which got knocked out really early. But now she's into. She's also, my mom's really a big fan of the Rangers, and now they're going up against LA, which is weird because my sister and my mom are really into the Rangers, but the Los Angeles Kings are our hometown team now.
That's actually that's really weird, and I'd rather have the Rangers win because of New York.
Because my sister's going to be going there next. She's going to college in New York, starting in the fall. So, but my mom's always been a Rangers fan because I remember.
Even though you live in LA, and the Kings are probably going to win, and they're such a good team. But anyway, so besides that, I haven't watched like a full game since the Red Wings got knocked out. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll catch the highlights. Fuck it, my team's gone. I don't give a shit. And it's been really tough to watch like Formula One because Ferrari's been kind of not winning everything, and when I started watching, like, Ferrari was the best, they won everything. I'm like, they're the best, they're gonna win everything. And so, like, it's so tough to watch your team.
No, I get that. It's something about like when your team, because as I said, my dad had season tickets to the Raiders, and I watched some of it. But it wasn't until when I got into high school and the Raiders started to pick it up pace and get real good that I was really I started to get into football. It was the same when I remember it was like the early 90s when the Rangers won the Stanley Cup in like 92 or 93. That's when my mom, who's always been a hockey fan, got really into the hockey again, and I started to get into it a bit as well and stuff because the team that my mom liked was winning. I'm not a huge hockey fan today, but I like it, but I was been more of football. But it is something like when I remember it was the end of my high school year, like the last 2 years of high school, the Sacramento Kings basketball team started to really fucking take off again, and I started to get like I watched them go to the playoffs and go up against all the other teams, and I was like, I kind of like basketball now because the team I like, it's usually a shitty team. I'm really into like shitty teams that perform really good for a while but never quite make it and then just turn shit again.
You should be a Cubs fan then because they get fucked all the time.
Or the Mets. Yeah,
yeah.
I should be a Mets fan. If I were into baseball, I'd be a Mets fan probably.
You know what? Like the Lions fan. That's a breed. That's a breed.
No, but you need a team that is mostly shit, but then has these hints of glory that you're like almost there, but then you don't.
So the Lions have been to the playoffs like once since like the 90s, and they haven't won a Super Bowl since 1959. And so like it's so bad in like Lions land in over here that people, like, even when we don't have any chance at all, people are like, but there's a chance. I'm like, there's not a chance. No, stop. But lately, actually, our team's been doing all right. I sound like a crazy Lions fan.
No, but it's interesting.
We're just so close. Like, every game last year, we lost by, like, a field goal. Or just, like...
But you still win, like, 50-1.
Right, yeah, exactly. But we were so close, except we weren't. And we just got to patch up these little things, but then all this other shit, it was just... It's so painful being a Lions fan.
The drama is appealing. I don't know what it is, like... I think the Sacramento Kings, I don't know enough about other sports teams, but for a team that's almost never been good except for like that, again, like 2001, 2002 kind of Sacramento Kings era, the Kings are never really great, but people fucking love the Kings in Northern California, especially around Sacramento, the area I grew up. Like, they're so diehard Kings fan, even though the team has always kind of been shit. And it's crazy how much, like, people fucking love the Kings.
Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, people are so into the fucking Kings up there. It's weird.
I never got into to basketball that much, though. We have the Pistons around here, and they had a year where things were crazy, and I went to a couple games just to, go to the games, and they ended up winning, like, whatever they call it in basketball, the World Pennant. I don't know what it's called, but the championship. So
I want to say the Final Four, but I think that's college basketball.
We're sports, but so like I never got into the basketball stuff. I would have a better time like watching tennis than basketball. I don't know. There's just
Women's tennis.
Any tennis, beach volleyball, best sport to watch on television. So I saw an unnecessary censorship article of beach volleyball. You should search that up. That is not safe for work. But anyway, I don't know. I can't get into watching basketball. I feel like every time like things are happening on the court and stuff, like a guy blows a whistle, it's like, hey, the guy's shoe came untied. That's a thing for you. That's a bad one. You got a bad one. We got to put your name on the board.
The thing I've noticed about basketball from watching it intermittently in high school was that it's not really to the playoffs that it really gets good. That's when you see like much more high level basketballing, as it were.
That's how hockey is.
Yeah, I with a lot of those games where I don't think it's the same because with football it's all about like little moments here and there and like little turnovers, little interception here. So it's I always kind of find it exciting, although I don't actively watch any of it except for the Super Bowl. But what I like about I always watch the Super Bowl, and like I haven't watched a regular or postseason game besides the Super Bowl in years, but I love the drama of it. Like I'll watch like something. I remember it was the Patriots versus somebody else, and like you were all like, "Come on, Patriots, man! They're about to go undefeated. Never happened before." And I was like, "Yeah, but the other team lost every regular season game until they couldn't lose one anymore, and now have won every single game." And that's the underdog story. I like the underdog. Like when the Saints were up, I was like, the fucking Saints, man. It has to be the Saints because they fucking deserve it. They're the underdog. So I don't know if there's like but there might be that kind of stuff in basketball, but I just like finding that in sports.
I'm so sick of the underdog story. No, like it's weird. Like humans love the underdog for some reason, and I don't know why that is.
We like the idea that we can prevail over the powerful, and even though we can't, and the powerful will always have the power and control our lives, we like to think that someday the dirty peasants will rise up and overthrow that filthy monarchy.
The dirty peasants. The working class, the working man.
Yeah, we'd like to think that our tribe of hunters and gatherers will band together and defeat the warlord and his armies, but we won't. But we like to imagine that that's possible.
I have a thing that happened to me this week, which was really weird, that I'm going to talk about next week because. My mom called. Okay, this is a thing for next week. My mom called me, or my brother called me today and was like, "Hey, there's a letter here that you wrote addressed to you." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You wrote yourself a letter 10 years ago. The high school has been holding it. They mailed it out today. It's to you, from you, and it's like an update." I'm like really excited to see what I wrote in this letter. Like, what possible things could I have wrote about? And it's funny because we were just talking about all that high school stuff like an episode ago or two, and so I'm really interested in that. So I'm
imagine just like the things. It's like, hey, future Eric, how's it going? I hope you're happy with your marriage to Clarissa from Clarissa Explains It All. Yeah.
Hey, future Joe. Do you have your...
Melissa Joan Hart and you are probably getting along just fine.
Those millions of dollars have finally rolled in from your investment strategy of investing in I don't know.
Laughed
Search soda.
In high school, everyone laughed at your idea of shoes you put over your shoes to keep your shoes clean. But now that you're a bazillionaire and you're best friends with Bill Gates, yeah.
How is Bill Gates doing?
Yeah.
If you set fire to the living room rug, don't go so hard on yourself.
I bet no one's talking about your weird dyed orange and blue and green hair, and now that you were the first man on Mars.
Joe, I heard you were trying to become an astronaut. Have those aspirations came true?
Now that you're an astronaut / marine biologist / race car driver.
/ president of the new conglomerate of the universe.
/ Batman.
I want to be a Batman. That's what it says in my high school thing.
Yeah. When I grow up, I'm going to be Batman.
I'm going to be the Batman. I don't know. So that'll happen next week. I'm going to get the letter, and I'm going to read it on air. It'll be great. Or I'll have somebody else read. I'll have Sarah read it. It'll be better. I hope it says something like, I hope your crush on Ashley worked out, and you finally got it in her pants. Yeah. Boom!
It must be great now that you've touched at least 17 boobs.
Yeah. I hope the hundreds of women you were with appreciated your creativity and influential laugh.
No, it has to be something completely like by this time you've kissed at least 6 women. You dog.
Like, what would high school Joe say about current day Joe? I can't wait. I really can't wait. Like, yeah, you're probably all-star soccer guy now. All that working out you were doing, I'm sure it paid off. You're definitely not 250 pounds still. Yeah, high five, not idiot.
Now that you're not working in an office cubicle and have all your hair, I'm sure things are great.
Yeah, your hair will never fade. Remember your sweet hair. Signed, Joe's Hairline. Oh man, I can't wait. I'm sure it'll be fun next week. So we'll have to. But that was kind of a cool experiment that my school did, and maybe one of the things I was actually thankful for that they did. I was like, oh wow, cool. I can't wait to actually read it. So that's happening. That's happening. Still playing Clash of Clans too.
Really?
I know. It's still good.
All those video games announced. You're still playing that?
I know. The whole E3 thing happened. I'm like, oh, cool. All that Clash of Clans. Nope. I'm good with the Clash of the Clans. And so, E3 is like going on right now, though, right? Like.
Yeah. The convention's going on at the moment. Yes.
So, did you have anything that you really wanted to talk about E3 announcements wise?
Fucking The Witcher 3. I'm a huge fan of The Witcher. The first game, I played it. I really liked it, even though it's not good. I don't know why. It's hard to explain. It's really hard to get into and enjoy because it's so. Especially if you go back now and play it, I'm sure. And The Witcher 2, fucking blew me away. And all the stuff that they've been talking about with The Witcher 3, all the things we've been seeing. They got a new trailer, which is what I put in as my plug for this week. Is The Witcher 3 new Witcher 3 trailer looks awesome. It's been really getting me into it. Like, and I went back and I started reading the books that the series is based off of. Or at least the character. I think the video games don't pull directly from the books. I think they take place after the book series or whatever. But I finished the first one. It's called Last Wish, and it's basically just a collection of short stories about the Witcher, Geralt, and it's pretty awesome. He just runs around fighting monsters and stuff like that. And there's some. I don't know if all of them, but some of them are based off of like fairy tales. Like one of them is kind of based off of Beauty and the Beast, and one of them is kind of based off Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. But you know, in a really weird Witcher thing, where Snow White is actually like being chased down by her stepmom because she's afraid she's going to be evil. So she's taken in by a bunch of gnomes who take turns fucking her and turn her into a bandit that steals from people to stay alive. So that's interesting.
Okay, so I have a list. I have a list here from GameRaider.com, and I'm gonna just go through it, starting here. And you just give me your quick take on some of these topics. Ready?
All right.
They're all E3 stuff. So Bayonetta 2. Does that mean anything to you?
I don't know. I didn't really play the first one. It seems interesting, but I didn't really play it, and it's whatever. I don't care. I don't have a Wii U either, so.
It's loads of, yeah, right, loads of meh with, but they still they're like, all right, we're gonna give this girl 2 guns instead of like weapons, and make sure we put an ass on her. We're good.
No,
what
no,
about Yoshi's World?
No, that's not even the best part. The guns are actually her high heels. She's got guns on her high heels as well as guns in her hands.
That's true.
So she's got 4 guns, so she can kick and punch and shoot at the same time. And her clothing is made up like she is a sorcerer who uses her hair as attacks, and her clothing is made up of her hair. So the stronger the magic attack is, the less clothing she's wearing because the hair is being used as like a magical hair fist that's punching things.
Pure pandering to 13-year-olds.
No, it's Japan. It's Japan. That's what it is. I like the character design in Bayonetta 2 better. She's got like short hair now, but she still looks like looks like a librarian, but with a short haircut. So I don't know.
The glasses. The glasses is what pulls the whole thing together.
Yeah, definitely.
She didn't have glasses. Anyway, all right. So what about? Do you care about Yoshi's Woolly World? I don't.
Yeah, a bit, because it kind of reminds me of Kirby's Epic Yarn, which I thought was a really good game. And there's the idea of like Yoshi in a weird like everything's knitted.
Well, I mean, like, okay, so they got Kirby's Epic Yarn, Yoshi's Woolly World. Well, I mean, what are the like Mario's Bedazzled Vagina World? I mean, like, what could they possibly think? They're just like
they already did Paper Mario.
That's what they'd have. Paper Mario. They're gonna have like, I don't know, claymation Luigi. I mean, it's just like
Luigi's got his own game. He's got Luigi's Mansion, which is a good game on the 3DS. It's a really good game.
Well, it's a good game, but I'm saying they just keep taking like building supplies. They can't do Lego Mario, but that would be cool.
It would be
cool.
Why
don't they do that? Yeah. Speaking of Mario stuff, there's the Mario Maker game.
I didn't really look too much about that, but it looks like
a level designer.
A level designer for Mario, where you could make your own Mario levels.
I think that's cool. Zelda for the Wii U. Blah blah blah.
They didn't really announce. They had kind of a trailer, but they didn't announce much about it. Yeah. He's got a bow. He shoots arrows that become things. Like the arrow loads up and then it changes or something. I don't know. It looks It looks like not completely realistic. It's like but not totally cel shaded. It's kind of like a hybrid of like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. It looks like, but we don't know. That could change.
Yeah, they didn't give us any gameplay. What is this one? Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker.
I didn't look. You can skip past a lot of the Nintendo ones because I haven't looked too much about what Nintendo's doing.
Well, what about Xenoblade?
Don't care. I didn't see anything about it. Is there a new one? I don't.
There is, yeah. Some Rainbow Six stuff. Mirror's Edge. Whoop-de-doo.
No,
Rise of Tomb. Okay, hold on. We can go back.
Yeah, you're skipping past all the new Rainbow Six looks stupid-ish. It was definitely like they tried to like this is gameplay, but it looked like a kind of a CG trailer. I doubt any of that was actual gameplay, and it just looks like it was like a multiplayer hostage versus terrorist, or terrorist versus counter-terrorist kind of thing, where the counter-terrorists had a hostage and they set up booby traps, and it might be cool. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that was just a CG trailer. So
we have the follow-up to Mirror's Edge, the new Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested because I liked Mirror's Edge. I didn't love it, and I think if they do better, if they do what they did with Mirror's Edge and do better,
right. I mean, if a game like Assassin's Creed can survive for so long with the same gimmick, I think Mirror's Edge could at least get half that time, right?
Yeah.
And they haven't came out with anything really new with Mirror's Edge stuff, so I think that'd be really cool.
Well, they said that they're doing more multiple paths and stuff like that. Like the free running was kind of somewhat linear in the game. There was kind of
there was
one path. So they're trying to do more of an open path with the free running, which I think is more interesting. And they haven't said it, but if they do less focus on gunplay, that would be amazing. If you didn't have to ever
like that.
If you never had to pick up a gun, that would be amazing.
Or you're just disarming people and then the gun is just something like it has very limited ammo, like really.
Yeah, the gunplay was awful. Yeah, it was already kind of like that, but the whole the shooting mechanic was terrible.
It probably would have been better without shooting.
Yeah, if they just didn't do it, it would have been a little better.
Or they made it where the gunplay was a little bit more. If they
I wouldn't mind
if
it were optional. If I could run around and grab a gun and shoot a couple of guys and then jump off stuff, or if I could just completely parkour everything. If it were an option, that would be cool too. But we'll see how that plays out.
So we have the new Tomb Raider, Rise of Tomb Raider.
Again, we don't know much about it. It was a CG trailer, but I like the idea of like Lara Croft came back from that island and she's kind of fucked up in the head a little bit because you would be because you would need a little therapy.
I have not followed what was going on in the Tomb Raider series. They
relaunched it with the last Tomb Raider, just called Tomb Raider, and the whole idea was like it was a prequel to all the other games and stuff like that, but it's basically like she got shipwrecked on the island and she just like, whatever, she's like a 20-year-old college student who doesn't know anything, and like slowly over the game you start like murdering people, and then you get really good at murdering people, and then you murder a lot of people, and
it's the gritty reboot.
Yeah, and what I like about it is because the original Tomb Raider games, it's like run around, shoot all these natives and mercenaries, and it doesn't ever like
tigers.
It's like the same thing that Uncharted has, where you are just this horrible sociopath, like murdering everything in your wake and never showing any emotion about it. Like Nathan Drake will snap some guy's neck and go, "Oh, your neck snapped," or something, and you're like, that's kind of disgusting when you really think about it, but I don't care. But then like the Tomb Raider, she was like the first time she kills a guy, like she's like, "Oh fuck," because it's disturbing.
So we have this is one, Crackdown.
I played Crackdown 2, which was the not good version of Crackdown. Because it was okay, but the idea is kind of interesting. It kind of feels like it's got sort of a Saints Row feel to it, but Saints Row was already did that, so I don't know how it'll work. I was actually it was just a CG trailer, but it looked kind of disturbed a little bit because there's a whole scene where they have to kill this bad guy who's in an impenetrable fortress. So they literally blow up 2 buildings to crash onto his building to kill him and then blow up other buildings. And I was like, it sounds cool, but also that seems like a lot of unwanted destruction just for no reason. But I don't know. If they just do what there have already been other open world superhero games like Saints Row or Infamous, which I didn't really like so much, but Prototype, which is really great. Yeah, which did that. Well, it's kind of already, but we'll see.
Yeah,
CG trailer. It's hard to say.
Yeah, there's just so many CG trailers. Just kind of like, oh man, show me some gameplay. Fable Legends.
Yeah, it looks kind of like
this is interesting how they're kind of changing up what Fable is. So
it's a cool side game. It's not like the main Fable thing, but it's kind of like Left 4 Dead, where it's a 4-player co-op game where you can fight against one other guy who doesn't play as the monsters, but like decides what monsters are and where it's at. So it's interesting. Like you can be playing against a computer, or you can be playing against kind of like a dungeon master who's like he spawns a cave troll and makes it go specifically after this person because of
exactly.
It builds a trap to keep them away so that the healer gets taken out or whatever. That's kind of interesting. But
I think it's going to be a really cool thing, but it might be too complicated for people to, hit
and also it's on a console, so it's not going to be overly complicated anyway. So I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't know. Again,
let's see. Next one here is Phantom Dust for the Xbox One.
Never played the original, and apparently it's a remake of the original Xbox game Phantom Dust, which
don't know much
like a Japanese RPG or something. Don't know. And again, just a CG trailer. I have no idea.
Scalebound.
Again, CG trailer from the guys who do Bayonetta and other games. It's a guy wearing headphones, not listening to music, who fights a couple of dragons or something. I don't know.
Who can make scales pop out of his body.
Yeah, he can build himself armor or something.
Like, he's just a douchey guy that talks about douche.
No, he doesn't talk. he doesn't talk. He's just got headphones on for no
Yeah, but
reason.
he came off like a douche when
Yeah.
I was watching the preview for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, we're gonna keep going. Let's see. What did we see? Final Fantasy stuff. Fallout 4, was that there?
No, it was
No.
not.
No. Okay, their list goes into stuff that we didn't actually see at E3 that people wanted to see. All right, so how did you feel after this whole E3 thing that happened? Were you excited? Does this make you want to buy a next generation console?
Oh no,
How
definitely
you feel?
not. Because I appreciated that this is the first E3 I think I've ever watched where there was none of that self-aggrandizing. We sold this many consoles bullshit, and it was just all video games. It was just showing off video games. Especially like that was surprising for Microsoft because they now sell the Xbox One without Kinect. They did not mention the Kinect one time, like almost as if they were pretending they never did it.
They did. They're like, we're not selling it anymore. Goodbye.
No, they didn't even say that. Like they just never brought it up, which was
no, but that's what happened like 2 weeks ago. They unbundled it from the bundles.
Yeah, no, it happened like they announced that, but I'm saying at the actual press conference, they never once mentioned the Kinect. They never once mentioned ESPN or that you can watch your football and basketball on your TV. They didn't mention Netflix or any music apps. They just talked about games, which was amazing. None of the games really make me go, oh my god, I have to get one of these consoles. The Witcher looks. The Witcher's awesome, and that's going to be PC. Most of the games I've noticed, most of the games I'm interested in are all going to be PC games.
Right.
And Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to be a fucking PC game now, which fucking finally.
That's the only thing I've been waiting for. So it's like, I guess I'll just keep playing on the PC.
Yeah.
New version of Smash Brothers, kind of cool.
I played Smash Brothers once at a friend's house like 2 months ago. That's the first time I ever played Smash Brothers. But yeah, there's nothing about it that makes me go, oh my god, I gotta get a console, because it makes me excited because like, oh, those are gonna be on the PC. I've got a rockin' PC now that can play all this shit.
So the thing that really got me is there really wasn't anything there that really said, this is AAA title, this is the one I need to get, this is what's going to take storm of everything. Like, I didn't see or feel that game. And maybe at this point I'm just jaded to the whole industry because we've, covered it and seen it and been there and done that. And
I agree. There was nothing that popped up as me as a console seller. Like, maybe a couple of years ago I would have been super excited for the Halo stuff where they announced, like, they're doing an Xbox One bundle that has Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4 all remastered, and you can play on your Xbox One with Halo 2 multiplayer, which was my favorite of the Halo multiplayers, and then in beta for Halo 4. But then Halo 4, I mean, the Halo series I kind of outgrew it. I don't know what it is. I love the story and the books so much, but the game I just kind of fell by the wayside. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, I'm actually kind of interested in because it looks interesting. The sort of future tech stuff, the robot arms and jetpacks and stuff looks interesting, and it looks kind of like that's not going to be entirely scripted. Like some of it, I mean, because there's a moment where they're like, oh, we have to jump down this giant hallway and fall. Oh, good thing we got these rocket boosters, and they all survive the fall. But then, like, there was a thing where they're actually in a gunfight, and he was using his boosters to get around objects and get around cover. And if that's just something in the game, this sort of movement stuff, because he was shooting and then like double tapped and like shifted to the left real quick and right.
Right.
That kind of stuff excites me. So if all of this future, like these exosuits and stuff, is part of the every bit of the gameplay and not just a scripted event. It was like, time to put on your exosuit and press X to do this cool thing that's kind of a cutscene, then I'd be really interested in it.
So the only thing that really just made my console inside stir a little bit was Project Cars, because it's a very hyper-realistic racing game. And it's going to be out for the Wii U and the PS4, which I think is funny that that's happening for hyper-realistic. But I would rather almost just play it on my computer because I know I could do more with it. So
yeah.
It's still, hasn't really pulled me away. The Star Fox for the Wii U looked kind of cool. But if
Did,
anything,
did
I
they
would say
actually announce that?
uh,
Because they didn't
I
actually at
thought
the
they
press
did.
conference. They didn't talk about that. But then there was like this thing where Miyamoto was like, "Ah, I'm working on some games."
Yeah, that's
Oh yeah, I see it now. Well, we played Star, and there was like a rumor that that's what it was that he was building because it was all they blurred it out, but you could tell it was fucking Star Fox. So
yeah.
so whether or not that turns into a real game, I don't know. But that'd be cool. But again, I
Yeah,
don't have a
but
Wii.
is it gonna be the Star Fox that we want, or is it just gonna be a rail shooter in space? You know, like.
That's the Star Fox that has always been a rail shooter in space.
Well, but the reason Star Fox came out and was so cool is because it made it shifted what a game could be, you know, like as a rail shooter. It made something that was not there before there. And
Yeah,
now
no, I
it's
get.
just kind of,
In an era of 2D platforming Mario games, the original Star Fox on the Super Nintendo, this fucking game that was in 3D. I mean, it
right,
had 7
fucking
pixels.
3D things
It had
coming at you.
It had 7 pixels in the game, but it was 3D, and it blew me away. I love the original Star Fox so much.
But so that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, what kind of innovation are you going to be able to bring to where we're at now with Star Fox? But that's what he's working on. He's got a knack for making things that are very playable and very good. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll come out and be very playable, very good.
He knows
But
game
nothing
design.
really. There was nothing there that was like, gotta do it. This is the one. I mean, I'm ready to spend the money.
Yeah, and all the ones that really excited me are coming. Like Far Cry 4 looks interesting, but again, that's going to be on the PC if I want it. I didn't realize this yet, but Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pains is going to be on the PlayStation 3 anyway. So I was like, oh, so I don't have to get a PS4 to play it. I play it on the console I already have, so I don't need to worry about that. So there's really, I mean, most of the things are either coming out on the PC or I wasn't that interested in.
So, yeah, I don't know. The one I really, if you listeners, please email in about this. The show at justcoolenough.com. Are we just being fickle old people, or are we missing something? Send in your thoughts. The show at justcoolenough.com. Let us know how you thought this E3 went, because it's always fun talking games, and we haven't really done it a while. So
By that he means we do it most of the time. But yeah, I'm looking at
like, yeah, you're right.
I'm looking at the list now, and I don't see anything that's crazy standing out for me. As like I'm just trying to like skimming over the exclusives, and there's nothing exclusive.
They're all reboots. Nothing is like actually exclusive. Everything's just there's a reboot of a thing that we did that was good
there's
before. Now
like
we're doing it
Halo
again.
5. Don't really care that much. Or I gotta say the Wii U is more and more appealing to me each time they announce more games for it. I will probably eventually get one just because Mario Kart, Hyrulean Warriors, just that new Squid Game, I forget what it was called from them, on the Wii U looks interesting. Like, there's a lot of really interesting games actually coming for the Wii U. The new Zelda game, whenever that comes out, whenever they decide to do that. The most appealing games have been on the Wii U for some reason. It's just that I'm at that point in my life where it's like, yeah, whatever, yeah, another generic grimdark shooter that'll probably be on the PC anyways. Who cares? Oh, but this Wii U stuff.
The Wii U is actually the one that has its hooks in me the most, I think, at this point. I'm just every time there's a game, it's like, wow, look at this color. This is nice. Remember games were fun and not a gritty reboot every time.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing probably that might have caught my attention is Uncharted 4 on the PS4, but we didn't, again, that was a CG trailer. We didn't see anything that was like, oh, you got to get this game, guys. That was just, I mean, for the most part, everything's either coming to the PC or I didn't see enough of it to actually care, you know. Phantom Pain's coming out on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, so why do I care? They kind of said that they were making a new Mass Effect, but they didn't say anything about it. So, again, like, I hate that there's so little we know about a lot of this stuff, so it's hard to say. Hotline Miami 2's coming out to the PC, so that's all we need.
So, yeah, right. That game, I still didn't even get through most of that game. So, and I don't want to put it on like an easier. There is no skill level. Is there a skill level selector in that
No,
one?
there's no,
No,
there's
there's
no.
not. There's no skill level selector.
There's get better at it.
Yeah, there's that. I love the game, but it's one of those games that remind me of being a little kid. I loved it because it's like, so what a pain. It was like the FTL thing, but I would like to see, modern graphics in that same good old feeling, like if they can only do that. But I don't know any games out there that's really meshed that together.
I think if Hotline Miami were realistic graphics, it would be disturbing because of the shit
Oh
that
my
you
gosh,
see
yeah.
and
Oh
do
my
in
gosh,
that
would be
game.
scary.
I mean,
no, you're totally right.
Yeah, because there's literally a thing where the guys you're fighting are literally like white silhouettes. They don't have any features. But there was a thing where I was finishing off a guy, and for some reason the character just like you could tell, even though there were like 7 pixels between them, he was literally gouging this guy's eyes out, and the guy was like kicking and screaming. But it was like 8-bit graphics, so it's like. And then like some pixel dots of red. But if that were, it's still kind of disturbing. But if it were like really realistic,
I'm gonna re-download it and start playing it again because I forgot how great it was. Man, what a good game!
I mean, it's like the scene. There's a. It would be like playing fucking that game Dead Space because there's like I think it's the second one. There's a scene where you have to keep Isaac calm while you try and put a needle like right in his pupil, like in his and if you move too much, you like get stabbed in the face, and it just goes and like blood squirting everywhere, and it's just like so much disturbing shit in that game.
It's really great that now we're at a point for developers and then also just the game industry where we don't have to go like full 3D on anything anymore, and you really just see all these art styles, especially in the indie space, but even the bigger houses now are starting to take more risks with art style and direction. I find it really interesting, and it's almost like, like computers at one point. It's like, I have to have the newest, best, fastest thing, and I have to have it every 18 months, and that innovation is kind of
Crysis was like, when Crysis came out, that was like the best, most graphically intense PC game. It wasn't the greatest. It's actually was pretty good, all things considered, and I think it's the best of the Crysis series is the first one, and it's still like there are games coming out now that don't look as good as that game does at its max settings, which is weird and funny, but
it's still used for benchmarks today.
Yeah, because it's still that fucking, because there's so much foliage in that game. It's crazy. But I will say, I just thought of, we were talking about games being different art styles. What I love is games that don't take themselves as serious as they used. They don't have to be serious. They can be colorful. They can be silly. And the one game I walked away from E3 that I just remembered that I'm really excited for was Dead Rising 3's new expansion. I think it's standalone, but Dead Rising 3 came out, and I like the Dead Rising series, but Dead Rising 3 again was like gritty, realistic. It was like it wasn't funny or weird like the other ones. It was like it was darker and took itself more seriously. But this is they just launched. It's like available now. You can buy it on the Xbox One. It's Dead Rising 3, but with co-op. 4-player co-op with the characters from the previous Dead Rising games, and it's all just super silly, over the top, and it has like the weirdest name. It's like Dead Rising 3 Ultra Amazing Ultra Alpha Edition A, Third Strike, whatever, making fun. And it's from Capcom, kind of making fun of the way they name the Street Fighter expansions, but it looks silly as shit, and there's so many references. Like you can play as Tofu, which is a reference to Resident Evil. There's an unlockable character called Tofu in some of the Resident Evil. Like, that's how weird this fucking game looked, and that's what I fucking love about Dead Rising, when it gets just super weird and stupid. And this looked like the stupidest Dead Rising possible, and it's amazing. And that's the one thing I was like, I mean, I'm not gonna buy an Xbox One for it, but if I had an Xbox One, I would be so fucking over. I would have bought that already.
But that's the thing, like everybody went right back to games. I think you said it at the start, like this was a really a focus on games that we haven't seen before, because last year's E3 was more about the systems and more about what's going on with the new system.
Microsoft spent 2/3 of their show talking about ESPN, and then the other third was split between games and Facebook.
Right, and so this was really a return to form for the whole industry, I think. But the thing is, I don't know the adoption rate of the PS4s versus Xbox 3 or Xbox Ones, and for the amount of PS3s and Xbox 360s that are out there, developers are still having to do double the work if they're going to publish on both things.
Well, I think this is the turning point where we're going to stop seeing, because most of the stuff we saw was exclusive to newer platforms and not releasing on both. Because the new Batman, which looks really interesting,
what was it?
Next gen, yeah, Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight, yeah.
Arkham Knight. Batman Arkham Knight, only next gen and PC. The new Call of Duty, only next gen and PC. Just a lot of the stuff they were showing was no longer PS3 and stuff and 360. So I think we're stepping past that. I mean, there's always that middle ground, but I think we're in the era where we're not going to see too many more games for those systems anymore.
Well, and even you could see in the indie world too, a lot of stuff was PS4, a lot of stuff was.
Well, that's because they're paying them to do like they.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's a smart way to do it, because that innovation that comes out of those games, I think, is so vital. And now that they have that just on the systems, ready to go, and you can go get just a completely unique experience on the cheap for one of these systems. That's great. They're turning it into a PC. You know, like that's great. But I just still I'm actually like actively looking for something to be like, oh, that's the hooks I needed. Time for me to buy a 60-inch TV. I'm buying a PS4. I'm doing it now. Like, there's just nothing there that's like pulling me away. I'm still waiting, and I just sat there the whole E3 stuff, reading through the announcements, everything. It's like I'm still waiting. That's kind of cool, but no. So, I feel like I'm still not entertained. Still not entertained.
Disappointed.
I'm disappointed.
I get that. Nothing screamed at me.
I'm being a Debbie Downer, but there's really there's nothing screaming at me like I gotta do it.
There's some really great games. Yeah,
I'm such an impulsive person. Like, I'm impressionable and impulsive. I want it to happen. Like,
no, I wanted it. I could have gotten a PS4 and Xbox One for Christmas. I didn't. I went with a 3DS instead. I could have gotten one for my birthday. I got a new PC instead. Like, and as I said, like, there weren't any games, and there aren't going to be any games until this winter is when the games that are really exclusive going to start coming out, and then maybe in a next year I might be fucking blown away by what's there. But I think for the most part it's all going to be on PC if I'm that interested in it, and I've got a PC that can do this stuff finally. Like, I was talking to a friend, and he's like, oh, you know that game, that space game everyone's fucking talking about. I forget what it was, Star Citizen. And he's like, yeah, they did the dogfighting alpha stuff, and he's like. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'd love to try that. He's like, I've got an account. Do you have a computer that can run it? I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can.
Yes, I do.
4.4 gigahertz, 8-core processor, and 2 gig graphics card, and
Whipping 16 out gigs, your big computer dick over here.
16 gigs of RAM. So I'm pretty sure I can handle fucking Star Citizen's dogfight.
You know what? I got such a sad email in my email inbox. It was... Oh, and it was from Blizzard. I was like, because I think the betas went out for friends and family,
the alpha for
that's what it was
for the Warriors of Draenor.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, cool, new Blizzard thing. What could it be? I'm so excited. Hearthstone is great. Heroes of the Storm is great. Can't wait to World of Warcraft. Log in and get your free 90. Oh, not interested. So I'm not interested. Maybe if I have, I'll send it to you if you want it.
I don't think it works that way. It's an account thing. They email us saying we activated it on your account. So that's how that works. We did actually just get an email from Brady who says, E3 games, JCE crew. I totally agree with you guys. There's just no new exciting games coming out as far as there are on the PC. The only non-PC games I'm interested in are the Zelda games. Same for both of us. I'm also looking for the new Tomb Raider. Really loved that reboot and want to see where it goes. Me too, but again, that's going to be a PC game, so why go buy a PS4 or Xbox One for something I can play on my amazing PC? And why would I pay another $400 for another gaming system when I could probably find $400 worth of parts I could shove into this thing to make it even better? Or maybe just buy a new monitor, because I don't need a new monitor, but my monitor's only 1080p, and I wouldn't mind a 4K monitor.
Oh man, yeah, you don't do that yet, Eric. As a technical guy, I'm saying don't go 4K with the graphics card that you have. You just hold off. That'll be your next upgrade. Save up $800 or $900, and then do it big, like in a year or two.
Yeah. Gonna get one of those curved Samsung TVs. You know, the curved ones.
I can't wait for that. That's a gimmick. Oh my gosh. Oh, 3D TV. That's flopped, right? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's find
Sony,
this email.
People have been like, oh, Sony's losing money hand over fist. PS4 sucks. But no, they weren't losing money over the PS4. They were losing money because they fucking went double down on 3D televisions, and nobody wanted it.
Full retard into 3D television.
Nobody wants 3D televisions because you have to wear the fucking glasses. They only work for like if you have a couch, the two people in the middle of the couch can see, but the others can't quite see, and you have to buy the glasses are expensive. You have to buy one for everybody who's going to watch it, and there's no content. Like
on the good technology, the glasses are expensive. The cheap technology, it doesn't work well enough to buy the glasses to use the 3D.
And there's no content. There's no content for it. There's barely any there's barely any Blu-rays that come out that are 3D enabled, and you have to buy a completely separate Blu-ray player in order to get it to work. And then there's not a 3D television channel. There was some for a time. I noticed Comcast, or not Time Warner here, had some on-demand 3D stuff, but I don't even know if they still have that. I think they might have stopped doing that because it wasn't worth the money of having a whole another channel of on-demand content for something that nobody's going to watch.
Well, and so we got the next jump coming up, like what you mentioned with 4K, and now 4K, it's noticeably nicer than.
Yeah, that's not a gimmick. But that'll be a while before it gets the adoption rate that it.
Right, like we're just starting to get 4K displays that are like $700, $800, so that's just starting to approach what normal.
But again, there's not as much. There's no content. There's no devices that go there's no 4K Blu-ray players. There's no 4K. There might be some, but they're not as readily. Most Blu-ray players now are not going to be 4K enabled. But that's the next step. I mean, people are going to in like 5 years, people are going to start. Most people who buy TVs, you're going to buy a TV. It's the same with right now, smart TVs are the thing. Like a couple of years ago, they were around, but nobody wanted them because they were more expensive. Now, if you're going to buy a new TV, buy a smart TV because it costs the exact same thing. Yeah. That's when my mom.
I don't even want smart. I hate having all this stupid shit on my remote. Fucking look at these ads and stuff. Netflix, Amazon.
Ours aren't individual buttons. That would be crazy. Yeah, I can imagine that.
Look at how, I mean, this is, and I bought the cheap. It's just a shitty Vizio, right? So, yeah. But it was a 30-inch. I bought it 2 years ago when I built this computer, and wow, has it been that long already? Shit. Now I need to upgrade. But seriously, it's good enough, right? There's no reason to. It's good enough, but I don't even think the smart TV is that awesome. I mean, all you have to do is hook up a Chromecast or something, and it's that good. It's good.
But the Chromecast has a limited range and stuff, but I like
there's
smart TV is the next
boxes.
Yeah, but smart TV is the next big thing.
What is smart TV for you? I mean, all I need to do, with this thing is I press the Netflix button, and that's great.
But it replaces the need for me to have a PlayStation 3 or an Xbox One or a Roku box or anything like that, or a Chromecast. I don't have to buy any of that because it comes pre-built in the TV. That's the next thing. My TV being able to do all that stuff without me buying another thing is amazing.
That's what Ouya needs to do. They need to rebrand and just say this TV is Ouya capable or something. have enough.
If they said, here, you don't have to buy this box, you buy a remote, any remote, really. Like, you could plug in, like, if they could find a way to use any whatever, like, Logitech controller or even one of the Xbox controllers on your TV, and just make it an app that you could pay for, like, $20 or whatever, like an app I could download on my TV and have all the Ouya games, that would be amazing. But that would be much harder.
But
TVs don't have the processing for that, so that's not. Yeah, that's not possible. But if it were, if we could just have magic do everything, because as we all know, technology is magic, and none of us understand it. So if my TV could just be video games.
No, I'm serious. It wouldn't be that much. Like, the cost of these processors and everything. Like, the Ouya is not an expensive unit. It wouldn't, if to mass produce one of those things and bake it into a TV's, already all the circuitry, it would not be that tough. But I'm just wondering, like, is that company even still around? Did they get like? They're
still going. I think they're not bankrupt or anything, but they certainly didn't. They weren't the next big thing or anything. They didn't take off. I remember last year there was the whole thing where, like, they didn't get into E3 and they were like, we're gonna be in the parking lot across the street. We're the real gamers. And then, like, E3 parked a truck in front of it so nobody could see it or whatever. And now I don't even think they're trying for that.
I don't even know how to spell it. It's that bad.
It's Oyhya.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
YAA. Nope, that's
OU.
See, I mean, why would you name something? No wonder it's gonna be shitty. I can't even Google it.
Yeah, I don't know how to Google it. That's the worst part.
I'm gonna have to use, like, the Google voice search, like, okay Google. Oh wow, you couldn't enable OK Google on your computer.
It's Ouya. Ouya.
Okay Google. Whoa, that's creepy. Now Google's always listening to me.
Speaking of creepy, fucking TweetDeck. God damn it.
Why? Why is that creepy? What happened?
Because some dude figured out an exploit where it fucks with only TweetDeck, where you might have seen this. If you see somebody retweet somebody and it's just code, it looks like HTML. What it is, it's an exploit, so you guys should watch out for it. If you see this in your feed using TweetDeck, it automatically retweets it for you, and then pops up a message on your TweetDeck saying like an error thing. So I mean, it doesn't like do anything, but it was just like an exploit where this guy found a way to take over your Twitter for a second and didn't do anything. But Twitter has since like shut down TweetDeck and made sure and like are working on an exploit. But I like woke up this morning and I read that somebody I think Christina retweeted that, and I was like, oh, that's funny. I was oh shit, I have already retweeted this too, that fucking code too. Jesus Christ. And then I saw like, I think Blondie it's like, hey, check my notification. It's like, Blondie retweeted a thing you retweeted. I was like, oh fuck. So just don't use TweetDeck for a while.
Wow, that is kind of creepy.
Yeah, you just have to see it in your feed, and then you automatically retweet it. And you might not even know it's there, so you should probably all check. Because if you use TweetDeck, you've probably been hit by it just because it's how fucking pervasive it is. But it's crazy how you didn't have to download anything or click anything. If it showed up in your feed and you were using TweetDeck, you automatically retweeted it, and you probably got a message saying, like there's been an error, and then the message just like, hi.
I'm just looking through the Ouya games here. There's nothing I really want. They have 840-something games, but what I really want to do is download an emulator to the Ouya and then just like play Pokemon on my TV.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That's the only thing I need.
I hear there's a game. What is it? Not Crazy Frog, something Frog, where it's there's
Crazy Frog on there.
It's called something like that, but something Frog or Crazy Frog or something. But yeah, there's like it's basically it seemed like an interesting idea, but then Amazing Frog, I think it was. It's a stupid game that's like broken and doesn't work, kind of like Goat Simulator, but and just as good in a certain way. But it's mostly mobile ports. If they just would have sold it on, hey, want to emulate SNES games on your TV? And you'd be like, fuck yeah. But they can't advertise it as that. Instead, it's the Penguin game Tux Race and other shitty mobile ports.
Yeah, Duck Game. It's like Doom, but you're fighting ducks and geese.
Yeah. I'm looking at Multi-Bird, which looks like a Flappy Bird clone with 4-player co-op. So if that's your thing.
There is a game called Mini Space War, which has 3 reviews and is, as you can imagine, a small space war. There's nothing here. This is worse than E3.
Yeah.
This is one of those things that you want it to succeed, but you don't know why or how it's going to.
The thing I just thought of it. The thing that I was really excited, not technically E3 because it was last week they announced it, but CD Projekt Red held an event before E3 where they showed off The Witcher a little bit and they talked about the collector's edition. But what they talked about, because CD Projekt Red is owned by the same company that owns Good Old Games, GOG.com, they're doing their own client like Steam for Good Old Games, where you'll be able to have friends lists, and what they talked about is cross-play, so you can connect with people playing on Steam or other services, perceivably, while using Good Old Games, and you can buy through them and just use it the way Steam does. Kicker is, it's DRM free, assuming that the games are anything sold through there is DRM free, and you don't have to be online ever unless you want to play online, and it's also completely just it's non-mandatory. So even when they implement it, you don't have to download it. I mean, they have all the automatic patching and stuff like you would have with Steam, but you can continue to still buy games through their website, download the patches manually if you want. You never have to use this or download it if you don't want it. But it's that same approach that they take to DRM and games that make them so awesome in a app client like Steam or Origin or Uplay without all the shitty practices. So you can do get your achievements, your friends list, play online, connect with friends, chat, all that stuff, but in a better, non-shitty package.
It sounds like what Steam was.
Yeah, well, it sounds like what Steam kind of was, but before we realized how the Steam was DRM.
Right.
Imagine
we always knew it was DRM, though. I mean, like.
But we didn't really know what DRM was 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
I didn't.
Well, okay.
I just thought, oh shit, I gotta download this if I want to play the newest version of Counter-Strike. If I want to play 1.5, I have to get this Steam.
That was more than 10 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
That was like 15 years ago.
No, not that long ago.
Old man. You don't even know your days.
I know.
Hey, how was your birthday? You turned 29.
Yeah, I was gonna go. I got all dressed up, took a shower, gonna go see a movie with my friends, and then they stood me up. So I sat around.
Shut up! That didn't happen.
It did happen. Then I stayed at home, ate way too much pizza, and ate way too much. Normally I go with a pumpkin pie because I like pie more than cake. But this time I changed it up, and I got the butterscotch pie from House of Pie near where I live because I really like that pie. I don't know what it is. It just, even though I didn't eat the whole thing in one go, I had like maybe a quarter of it. It still feels like soup, way more filling than I imagined it was gonna be. But yeah, it was good. I ate a shit ton and then sat around doing nothing. But my friends didn't know it was my birthday, and then we went Sunday to see the movie, and then we're like, "Oh, how was your birthday?" And I was like, "Oh, it was okay. I was gonna go see a movie with some friends, but then it stood me up like a bunch of assholes." And they're like, "Wait, really? Oh, oh, god damn it!"
Oh yeah, did they buy you anything? Did you get a gift?
No.
They just graced you with their presence.
Yeah, they drove me the 5 blocks to the ArcLight Theater, and then drove me home. So
was that a plug?
What? The ArcLight Theater?
Yeah.
No,
it
not
sounded
really.
like. Okay.
It's just a really good theater. I mean, it's the theater. It's more expensive than the other theaters in town, but it's the better theater because the seats are all comfortable. There's no bad seat. They made sure like it's built so that there's no bad seats and there's only good seats. The screen's really large. Before each movie starts, an usher comes out and like introduces the movie and stuff like that, and they say I'll be, if you have any questions, ask any of us in the lobby. I'm gonna monitor, make sure the movie, and sound and picture are good for the next few minutes to make sure it's not, it doesn't fuck up. But if there are any problems, find us. And it's just nicer. It's just you pay a little more, but you get a better time.
Oh, I'm all for that. The place I take my Beamer to. I don't take it to the dealership because I'm not rich. Yeah. I take it to, and it's not a brand new vehicle. So I have like a used car, and they sent me a birthday card, right? And my birthday is not till or I don't even know what month my birthday is. My birthday is not till October, so they sent me a birthday card. I'm like, what the hell is this? And they're like, congratulations, Joseph, your BMW is 7 years old today, and it's like. Here, have this $25 off coupon for your thousands of dollars of work that's impending upon you because you own an old German vehicle. And so, but I thought it was really cool. But it's one of those things where it's like I pay a little bit more, but the service is a lot better. I wouldn't even say a little bit better. It's like a lot better.
I don't know how much my mom pays versus other mechanic shops, but luckily the mobile station that's right next to our apartment complex, really super nice guys that work there, the guy that runs it, that's where my mom starts taking her car now, and it's great because we don't have she can just she pulls out of our parking lot, goes around the corner, and it's right there in front of the building. So it's like it's great. They do good work.
Well, I mean, this place is just they give you almost like a dealer experience. Because that's why you buy one of those premium brands. If you have a problem, you have the right to walk in there and be like, I own a Jaguar, and it makes a rattle when I go over bumps.
My Lincoln Continental is...
No, Lincoln's not a premium brand.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Lincoln...
My Lexus.
Yeah, the Lexus is one of those brands where it's like, my fancy Toyota, because that's who makes Lexus.
My Jaguar, which is just piecemeal parts from a Ford Focus.
Oh man, it used to be like that. It's not like that anymore. Ever since
I know. They got better. No,
ever since the end of the bottom, they got so much better. Anyway, if you want to hear about car stuff,
watch Top Gear on BBC America. It's a great show.
You know what? I was watching Top Gear, and I realized I don't really like Top Gear anymore.
It's not for you.
It was though. It was for me.
I think it's for me because I know nothing about cars, so I just, and it's just a bunch of, it's like 3 man children having stupid fun with cars.
Sometimes their stuff is right on, but I'm watching, I don't know what season it is, the latest season on Netflix, and I'm like, this isn't that entertaining to me right now. I don't know what the deal is. And I know what the deal is. The deal is it's so staged. It's like watching wrestling. It's like, all right, yeah.
A lot of it is very staged. But
so all the stage stuff and all the interviews, I just fast forward through, and I'm like, just give me the real car meat. Give me the car meat.
Well, when I'm like fucking, why 2 car reviews in 1 episode? Boring.
Oh, those are the good ones for me. I'm just like, ooh, yeah, a Ferrari and a Lamborghini.
Go back to trying to turn a minivan into a rocket ship, please.
I like that too, but the stage stuff, all the stuff that the one I just got done, like Captain Slow, James May was like, we're gonna have a trial bike race these 2 guys on foot through the old BBC radio station thing. I'm like, this sucks.
That was not a great one. I will give you that. Speaking of stage stuff that needs to stop, we should stop doing this shit and start plugging each other.
Oh, finally.
My plug for this week is just going to be it's the trailer for The Witcher because it's The Witcher and The Witcher.
All right, my plug.
Geralt of Rivia. Geralt of Rivia. He's got white hair, has sex with ladies, and doesn't afraid of anything.
My plug for this week is Wide Open Roads podcast with Alex Conley and Joe Cariotti. Go check it out at wideopenroadspodcast.com.
I've heard of one of those guys. Not that Joe guy, whoever that is.
No, he's a dick. The Alex guy is really cool, though. We recorded our first episode. It's up on wideopenroadspodcast.com, so go check that out. It'll be a link in the show notes also. And it's hosted on Shout Engine along with this show, so if you want to start a podcast, you can in under 5 minutes on shoutengine.com.
It's super fucking easy, guys. Like I was against it. Like when Joe was like,
I remember when you were against it. I'm like, dude,
it seemed like I was like, we already got this shit figured out. That we like this slapped together fucking hosting ourselves thing. I don't feel like doing a whole nother thing. But then like when we switched over the site and got the new site and I broke everything because of my slap together bullshit. I was like, oh. This fucking Shout Engine thing fixes all of this stuff, and now I'm like really into it. Now I'm like, yeah, this is good. So I actually like I was totally like not for this until I had to use it because there was no alternative. and then I realized the error of my ways, how much I enjoyed it. Because we used to use Libsyn, and I was like, whatever, it's another fucking Libsyn. It's not. It's so much better than that shit.
And also, you're directly benefiting me, so that's great. If you want to support the show in so many ways. But there was another plug that I wanted to do, and I totally forgot. But go check out the Wide Open Roads podcast hosted on Shout Engine. That's the most important stuff. I can't remember the other plug, and it was for somebody else. Whatever. I guess they don't get their plug.
Fuck that guy, whoever he is.
Fuck that guy, assholes.
He's probably a dick anyways.
Yeah, let's do a plug for Ike. Why don't you donate to something? How about donating to the show?
Art education's good.
Oh, yeah.
No, kids need to learn math and shut the fuck up.
Go to justcoolenough.com if you made it this far into the show. You should feel obligated.
Instagram, because I do art.
Death Store Inc. Blah, 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 blah. 8th graders. Now 9th graders. All right, so we did Ike's whiny plug. I hope he listens to this week's show. We barely mentioned him at the start, but then we just rip into him at the end. Poor Ike. If you want to comment on the show, you can. Our email address is theshow@justcoolenough.com. We have so much fun doing this show, and it's even better when you read or when you write emails in so we can read them out. They're amazing. Next week on the show, I'm going to be reading my letter to myself, which I'm excited about, and hopefully...
And I'll probably just write one and pretend like that I did that, but don't tell anyone.
Oh, man.
Mine's going to be so much more entertaining because I'm a comedy writer.
Yeah, you're going to be, like, doing cool references that I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm going to look up a bunch of references from my childhood that I don't remember just to pepper in there to make it seem more cool and interesting. So it's going to be good.
Remember when you went to Space Camp, Eric?
I didn't, but I'll pretend. I'll remember that. I'll say that I went to Space Camp just so I seem like I was cool.
Eric, Space Camp is great. I can't wait till I become a real astronaut.
Yeah.
So you become a taikonaut? That's what the Chinese call astronauts. They call them taikonauts. There's some knowledge for you. Boom.
Russians call them cosmonauts.
Cosmonauts, taikonauts.
Thanks for listening to this show. I hope you found it entertaining with us talking about all these video games all the time.
And sports. We talked about sports.
Video game and sports. But I hope you guys have a happy weekend. Father's Day is this Sunday, so remember to call your dad.
Remember to tip your dad.
Yeah, tip your dad and call your waitresses. But until next week, have a wonderful weekend and fuck off.
Oh, I thought this was going to be the friendly end of the show, not the dick end.
That was friendly. I didn't say anything.
That was the
what did I say? I just said have a wonderful weekend.
You told the listeners to do the thing that I don't like.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Listen, we need to be like Amazon. We need to be like customer service oriented.
I did. I told them to have a wonderful weekend and call their dads and stuff like that. I don't know what you're complaining about.
Call your dad.
Yeah, I didn't. Nothing I said was offensive to anybody. I don't know what you're talking about.
You said the fuck word to the listeners.
I said what?
I'm not going to repeat it because I don't want the listeners. I don't want to say fuck the listeners.
Oh my God! Why would you say that?
Go to hell.
Alright, I gotta play Dungeons and Dragons.
You're a good comedy writer, Eric. I don't care what they say.
Who said? Who said?
All right.
My team just got a Spank show.
What's a spank show? Is that where everybody lines up and then spanks each other in the butt and jerks each other off because you guys are so
exactly. Stop broadcasting. I gotta go.
No. All right. Talk to you later.
See ya.